Well, hello there. Jim Harold here. I hope you're having a great day. Where I'm at, it's 11:30 a.m. Eastern. So if you're in my part of the world or west in the United States, good morning. A cup of coffee from the Stay Spooky mug. And thank you for joining me. I've been doing these quote impromptu coffee chats recently and enjoy doing them. So, as people come in, please put into the chat where you're from, what you're up to today, what the grand plan is. I've got a lot of straightening out to do in the house. Now, I like to do these on the deck currently, but honestly, today is a rainy day here in northeastern Ohio, kind of dreary and raining a little bit, and stopping and raining. So I thought it was best to just do this inside today. So welcome to my basement. And you could see the jukebox back there. It's not a real jukebox. I mean, it plays music. Don't get me wrong. You can stream to your phone and things. It's more of like a glorified Bluetooth speaker, but it's still cool. I got it for a milestone birthday a while back from Dar. So it's a reasonable facsimile. Let's put it that way. Let's see who all we've got here. Ark said, "Welp, I just set the computer with a cup of Joe myself. Perfect timing." Northeast Ohio, my neck of the woods. Let's see who else we've got. Daniel's here. Good morning, Daniel. Jacob. Good morning, Jacob from Cincinnati, Ohio, fellow Ohioan. Daniel's working on his new magic show. Yes, I saw that. Congratulations and all the best with it. I'm way behind on my correspondence, I have to be honest. We've just had such a kind of blisteringly busy 2 months. And I sent it out in my email today. We did a ton of stuff. I'll talk about that in a minute and kind of give everybody up to speed on what's been going on at the Spooky Studio. James says, "Good morning." Mary says, "Good morning. How fun you are talking to us. I hope you're having a good day." Well, I hope you're having a good day too, Mary. Jeanette, Oakland, Maryland, former home of the Big T Burger. Yes, I remember that. I remember that well. Nice to see you as well. In fact, you always join our big live streams that we do and play trivia and things. So good to you again. I'm trying to remember Buffalo, or am I getting mixed up there? I'm not sure. But I'm glad we've got some people here. Pretty cool indeed. We've already got 30 people. So basically, I'll kind of recap what I talked about a little bit in my email that I sent out this morning, my email newsletter. It has been a very busy time here at the Spooky Studio. First of all, I changed website hosts. So you'll notice jimharold.com loads a lot faster. And that has been nothing but good. That's been awesome. Also, we have totally changed our host for all of our podcasts. I went from a company I've been working with for 19 years since the very beginning and decided to switch. And we're also finding that to be a big upgrade. But it involved moving over 2,900 episodes, most of which Dar and Maddie did. I did some, but they did the lion's share of it. So thank you to them for doing that. And then we moved over our whole Plus Club. We had 2 branches of the Plus Club. We had the Apple Podcast Direct version, which is not changing at all. That works fantastically. And we're going to keep that the way it is. And then we replaced the Spooky Studio Libsyn version, and we're replacing it, I should say. It's the Spooky Studio app is still working for a short time, but we're moving everybody over to Supporting Cast, which the huge companies use, Wondery, NBC, and we think it's going to be a big improvement. And everybody who had a membership with Libsyn is getting that same length of time in Supporting Cast, so they're not losing out on anything, and they're getting a much more, I think, up-to-date system. I think we'll have better support and everything. I started to become a little bit disgruntled with the support we were getting on the Spooky Studio app. I felt a change was needed, and so I made a change. So that's basically it. So just a lot of things going on at the Spooky Studio. And if you want to check out the new Plus Club, the Spooky Studio Plus Club. If you're not a member, there's that QR code. I always get this wrong. I think it's right here. There it is. You can scan on that QR code and check it out. It's pretty nifty. Basically, if you're a Spotify listener, now you can add all the Plus Clubs to the Spotify app. You can add them to Apple Podcast. You can add them to Overcast. Most of the major podcast apps. You can add my Plus shows to now. It's a big upgrade. It's pretty cool. So check that out. Let's go back here and see who else is here. Danny from sunny Yorkshire. That is cool. How do you choose what stories go on your campfire? Actually, we air most stories. The thing that we make deciding factors on when things are going to come out. A lot of that's a function of the timing. We try to shoot for 90 minutes, usually every week. So it's kind of like putting together a jigsaw puzzle, but almost all of the campfire stories are almost all aired. Mark asks, no, he's not from Buffalo. He's from Connecticut. I knew it was up east, just not far enough. Sorry about that, Mark. John says, hi, Jim. Hi, John. Mary says, thank you, Jim, and I hope you and your spooky self does some type of event in Southern California at some time in the future. I would like to do that. I was just looking at listenership geolocation, and that's probably one of our most popular areas in the country is Southern California. The other one's Texas. Daniel said on the 2,900 episodes, that's a lot of episodes. Yes, it is. And that's not even everything. There's a few hundred episodes from shows that no longer exist, like the old Paranormal Report that are not up. So, it's they're not included in that. So that's a lot. Also, there are a couple of announcements. I mentioned this in the newsletter this week, the email newsletter, but I might as well tell you too. The Paranormal Report. I used to do a video podcast, audio podcast that gave the week's spooky news. And when I say spooky news, paranormal news, I mean everything from ghosts to UFOs to cryptic creatures, whatever it might be. And did that for years, including with Micah Hanks, and that was great fun. And stopped doing that just because it got too much to do. And on the video side, I was a little disappointed with the quality of videos that we could find. So let that sit for 10 years, I think. I don't know, 9 or 10 years. And I'm bringing it back. And this time I'm going to bring it back, and my co-host is going to be Dar Harold. And I think it'll be really good because she might be a little more skeptical. Some things she's totally into, like psychic phenomenon, those kind of things. Other things like cryptids and so forth, I think she's a little more skeptical maybe. So it'll be a good counterpoint. She's my co-host. We're going to start it off as an audio podcast only. And then we will graduate and maybe take a look at video eventually. But let's just start with audio. Let's walk before we run. Most people, in terms of my shows, they're totally audio people. They're not video people, although you're on video now. Thank you for joining me. So I think we will go in that direction. And then the last, I guess, announcement is many of you may know that I did a crime show for many years. Jim Harold's Crime Scene, did over 200 episodes. Most of the time that was in the Plus Club, but I did about a year and a half ago, I did some of those free. We're making the whole back catalog of Jim Harold's Crime Scene free. You can go right now and subscribe in your favorite podcast app at no cost. And that's 206 episodes. And then I'm going to start producing new episodes this fall. So haven't got a date on that yet, but we're trying to roll things out one at a time. Paranormal Report will come shortly after Labor Day. But this other show, Jim Harold's Crime Scene, will come back in the fall at some point. So we're really trying to flesh out the network of shows, as it were. So we hope that you enjoy all of that. Let's go. So you can see how I could say a lot's going on at the Spooky Studio. And we're up to 72 people. Thank you for joining us this morning. And here's a drink to you. Oh, and some people have asked, where do I get that mug? I can take care of you right here. Go to our mausoleum of merch. You can see up here, if I can find my hand, You can see the QR code there. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. See, this thing does this weird, it has this weird focus thing. So now I'm going to have to move it back. Oh, it's so weird. Hold on, I got to get this fixed. Okay. This camera is weird. It's one of these automated tracking ones. So I just made a sign there to zoom in, the little sign that I made. But up in the upper left-hand corner, you see the QR code. Okay, let's go back to the chat. Technology. Okay. Oh, here's someone who switched over to our new system. I love all my Plus content in my Spotify now. Thank you for your help on Friday. I helped Mary get her Plus Club going. She had been a Spooky Studio member, and we got her moved over. So glad to help out, Mary. Thank you. Let's see. Mary Lee, happy Sunday from the Pacific Northwest. I bet it's beautiful out there today. Jeremiah says, good morning. Karen says, how are you feeling? I'm feeling okay. Actually, I'm feeling a little bit better. I still have some tests scheduled that I have to go through. Again, I want to be clear, something serious enough that it has to be attended to, but not serious enough to think that I'm going to drop over or anything. So I just want to be clear. I don't want anybody to think that I'm like terminal or anything like that. There's nothing like that going on. Just some things that need to be tested and figured out. But thank you for asking, Karen. Elabeth, hello. How are you today? Good to see you. Ark said working on a paranormal festival convention started up in the Youngstown area. Awesome. Not that far away from me. Hi, Jennifer. How are you today? Nice to see you. Talitha is back, and she's from Oxfordshire. I want to make sure I get that right. Oxfordshire. Daniel wants to know, I did a few live events. How did Campfire work for me live? I think I had a good experience with it. Cheryl, hello. I was just reading your most recent newsletter. I'm looking forward to hearing you and Dar. I like listening on Apple Podcasts now. Excellent. And I'm guessing you might be a Plus member who may have moved over. I hope you're enjoying it. Will you have guest spots on the Paranormal Report? Not initially, but I could see where we might bring in like a guest to talk about new stuff. I think eventually we just got to figure out our cadence and how we work together in this kind of thing. But I think it'll be really good because I felt when we were doing You Won't Believe What Happened to Me. And by the way, that's the feed this is going to be on. So stay subscribed to that if you are subscribed, because there'll be new content and new artwork coming out on that feed. But anyway, my point being that I thought we just were able to walk in the studio and just do a show. I mean, because we know each other so well, I just thought it worked. And I think now that we're doing paranormal stuff, we'll really have something to sink our teeth into. So I think it'll be good. Wendy so far wins the prize for our most far-flung streamer today. New Zealand. Hi, Wendy. Thank you for joining us. Jennifer says, you do such amazing work and so much. We appreciate it, Jim and family. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I appreciate you. The mausoleum of merch. Yes, indeed. You need an old-fashioned smoking pipe. Actually, I have a replica one because when we did our Christmas live stream last year, we did a little skit at the beginning, or maybe it was a year before. I can't remember. It was either last year or a year before. We did a little kind of beginning skit, and it was a situation where I was pretending I was reading Christmas Carol by the fire, and I had a fake pipe. So I have one of those. Just shared live to the Facebook group. Thank you. Thank you, Marilee. I appreciate that. Bandrew, the greatest, the man. Actually, I have an opinion. I want your opinion, Bandrew, if you're still watching, by the way. Here's a drink to you. And it's a little noisy down here. I've got a refrigerator running and stuff. But this is the Holland Lark M2. And I'm finding it to be really good. The thing is I have all the, not all of them, but I have the Rode Wireless Pro, and I have another Rode Wireless, an earlier generation of it. I love Rode. Rode is a company, for people who don't know, that make all kinds of microphones and recorders and mixers. They do great work. But I have their mics, and I have this Hollyland M2 that I just recently saw. And I find that I'm doing more of this kind of stuff with the M2 because it's just two little pieces. And I think the audio is, for this kind of thing, pretty passable. So, Bandrew, I'd love to know what you think, and see if you have any experience with the M2. Again, it's not going to be like the Neumann, which is my fancy mic, for those who are not familiar with that name. But for these kind of things, just kind of informal chat, I think it's kind of fun. And the main thing is, it's kind of like the old thing of the best camera you have is the one you have with you. Well, with this little mic setup, it's so easy for me to pop on and do a reel or a live stream and get, better than phone quality audio. So it's pretty cool. I'd be interested what you think, Bandrew. Marilee said it was pretty after thunderstorms last night for a couple of hours. Go Browns! Yeah, I hope, but I'm not optimistic, I'll tell you. John said, I know there are often a lot of fellow UK folks in the chat, Jim. What do your demographics look like in general? I would say maybe 15% of my people are from the UK. And that's I think that's pretty good. I mean, I am really honored by that. So that's cool. So T1YAA wanted to know, what's the Paranormal Report? For a number of years, I did a show called The Paranormal Report. It was first a video podcast, not on YouTube originally. It was a video podcast. And this must have been in the early 2010s. I did it with a couple of different hosts, the most recent being Micah Hanks. And every week we would report on paranormal news. And then, we stopped doing it 2014, 2015. So I just took the whole thing down. But it's coming back. Marilee said, be well, what's in your jukebox, Jim? Well, I was saying this early on the stream if people were here before. This is called a jukebox. When you buy it, it's called a jukebox. But really, it's not technically a jukebox. I think of it as like a very large Bluetooth speaker with lights. But it's still cool. It's still cool. Don't get me wrong. But it's got that form factor of a jukebox. And like behind me, you'll see like the little nameplates and stuff there. Let's see if that stuff there. Those aren't, it's not really songs in there. It's just for show. Basically, you connect it to a phone or anything, YouTube, anything Bluetooth, and it plays music. So, but you can't play records, or I guess you can play. It has like a CD tray. You could play like one CD, but it's more of, I consider, a glorified Bluetooth speaker. But it's still pretty cool. Still pretty cool. And as far as what I would have in it, I would have a lot of oldies, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And 90s, and it's kind of scary to think that 90s is oldies now, but it is. Then I'd have some classic country. I'd have some classic jazz. So classic rock, oldies, classic pop, jazz, classic country music. Those are probably the ones that I'd have. And then sometimes I listen to classical too. All right. Meat Suit Mania says, thank you for all the content and different shows. Excited to binge the True Crime podcast. Yeah, that show, that show started before Serial, believe it or not. That show was around before Serial. And I had it in the Plus Club, so nobody ever saw it. Maybe if I had that out for free, that I would have been known for True Crime. But it's an interview show, and I interview a lot of different authors, and I've interviewed many New York Times bestsellers. I've interviewed Pulitzer Prize winners, and somebody called it smart true crime. And that's why I think it is. I think it's pretty cool. By the way, this big black ugly cabinet behind me, that's where we keep our games, our family games. So that's what that's all about. Leon says hello from Nashville, Music City, USA. Talitha said, I started listening to Jim Harold's Crime Scene on Amazon, only a half dozen in, but really enjoying it. Good. Thank you. Good morning from Kentucky, Glenda said. We want the fun fact you drink spooky coffee cup coffee. I didn't know there was spooky cuppy coffee cup coffee. Try to say that 3 times. Bandrew says, I think the audio is more than good enough for a live stream. Better than live streams I've heard. Haven't tried the Hollyland, though, so no personal experience. Yeah. I mean, and as they say, this is not a sponsored video. And it's not, because I just brought from B&H. But the thing about the Lark M2, I feel, is that, again, like the Rode ones seem like they're just too much. It's like, okay, I got to look at the screen and make sure I'm recording the right thing and this and that. This, I just clip this on, stick this into my computer or my phone, and it's just there. It just works. And it connects with a little magnet, and it's very small, as you can see. See, I have a big thing. There's a magnet on the back of this that keeps it on my shirt. And when you get it, it has a big logo on it, but they give you stickers you can cover it up with. So I highly recommend it. And if you say it sounds good enough, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. And again, this is a non-controlled, this is an echoey basement with a small refrigerator over there that just kicked on. I think I have the noise cancellation on this, which I really hate noise cancellation in general, but I put it on. So take that for what it's worth, Bandrew, but it might be worth, if you're ever doing like on inexpensive labs, I think it was like $130 or $20 or $40, 100 and something, but it wasn't massively expensive. You might want to check it out. And by the way, if you're looking for microphone reviews, any of you burgeoning podcasters out there, or maybe experienced podcasters, probably know, check out Podcastage on YouTube. Bandrew is awesome. He is the preeminent mic guy on YouTube. So there you go. Keep up the good work. I've been listening to you since almost the beginning. You're an OG to podcasting. You've gone through a few changes, but still doing great. You and Micah were a good team. Absolutely. Micah is awesome. I know Micah is very busy doing his own thing. So I thought it would be a natural to have Dar do this with me. And I think we've got a good back and forth. And I think it'll be really good. And it'll be something a little bit different. I think that'll be a good thing. But Micah was awesome to work with, and always awesome to catch up with him whenever possible. Mark says, I know it's early, but do you have any idea what you'll be for the Halloween live stream? I always dress up for the Halloween live streams. And honestly, I have no idea. We were just talking about this yesterday, I think, or day before yesterday. And it's getting to that time where I got to make a decision. And it gets harder every year because I've been doing this for probably 10 years. It goes all the way back to a live stream platform called Blab. So that's a long time ago. But anyhow, the point being that every year I take one off the list because I'm not going to repeat myself. But I think my favorite so far was being Pennywise the Clown. That was the best one. I mean, I had some other good ones, but Pennywise the Clown's my favorite. So we're thinking it over, Mark. We'll see what happens. All right. Oh, this is nice. Nina said, just received some merch and was so surprised for the autograph books and sweet Dar note. Y'all are lovely folks. Great books. Thank you, Nina. I appreciate it. And I should put this up here. If somebody wants to check out my latest book, Campfire Book 6, check out the QR code there. I don't want to point to it, or lest it'll zoom into my fat head. Ark said, hello, UKers. My ancestry revealed I'm 26% UK, 37% Welsh. I was astonished to learn about the DNA discrepancy. I'm fascinated by that. I mean, I did that And a huge part of my ancestry is from the UK. Most of it is the UK. And I think maybe 10, 15, 20% is Germanic, but the rest is pretty much UK. It's pretty fascinating. Oh, good. Jeremiah says, I'll be rejoining the Plus Club this upcoming week. Can't wait to get all the content on Spotify. So I just want to be clear, Jeremiah, if you, as of August 6th, if you were at that time a Plus Club member, you were sent information on how to log in. If you were a Libsyn member through the Spooky Studio app, you were sent information on how to log in to the new system. But if you just stop being a member altogether, you just go to my webpage, jimharold.com/plus, and walk through the process to start again. There's two different options to be in my Plus Club. You can do the Apple Podcast Direct option, which works fantastically. We're not changing a thing. That's it for people who love Apple Podcasts. They listen to everything in Apple Podcasts. They want to manage their subscriptions through the Apple ID and their whole thing for subscriptions. That is fantastic. It's great. It works great. So if that's you, that's the way I think you should go. Now, if you're someone that says, hey, Jim, I like to have flexibility. Maybe I use Spotify. Maybe I use Overcast. Maybe I want to use all kinds of different things. Or maybe I use Apple Podcasts, but I want to have the flexibility at some point to use Spotify, then the supporting cast one is for you. And they're both great. Apple Podcast Direct has been tremendous. Supporting cast supports the biggest names out there. So I really, really do recommend it. I'll put the Plus Club link back up here so you can see it. That's up in the QR code up there. Let's see. I really love this platform, Restream. For the longest time, we used something called StreamYard, which I think was really good. But I think maybe they're being surpassed now. And there you have it. John says, are you considering some more paranormal roundtables? Absolutely. I think that makes all the sense in the world. The veil is thinning and coffee is a great assistant. I'll drink to that. Ella Beth says, couldn't hear the fridge kick on, so it must be working. Yay. Colin says, absolutely loved your interview with Danny Robbins. Thank you, Colin. I appreciate that. Mary says, LA and London tour in your future. I wish. Jim as Art the Clown from Terrifier. Let's see. Have you thought about doing a live show in the Washington, Oregon area? Yeah, but I've got to get some things straightened up first. I mean, in terms of doing more live shows, we tried to do a live show last year and it didn't work out. And I really want to make sure the next time I do something, it's like something we can see through and it actually happens and it works out. I'm thinking now just doing something much more laid back, much, basically like going to a restaurant and having a room or something. I mean, nothing, just kind of laid back, not so formal. I don't know. We'll figure out something. Stephanie says, hello from West Texas. Love the show. Stay spooky. Thank you, Stephanie. Hi, Laura. Good to see you or see your avatar there. Oh, Mary has a good question. Can I gift my niece a Plus membership? Yes. This is another great thing with the Plus Club. So if you go over to that link, Mary Plus Club, and click on the Join on Plus Club and go through the process, it'll take you to a page. If you scroll down, it says gift the gift of Plus. So don't join, but give the gift of Plus or something like that. You can definitely do a gift. And that's something we could never do before. I mean, we could do it kind of with Apple gift cards, but we couldn't do it the way we can in supporting cast. You absolutely can. Mary, if you have more questions on that, you can reach me at my contact page or email, and I can explain how to do that. Oh, Marina says, hello from Virginia Beach. You and your podcast have got me through some insane times in my life. I'm eternally grateful. I'll be a Plus Club member for life. Stay spooky. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Yes, it is still active. I'm late listening to Unpleasant Dreams. I found a few episodes on your YouTube channel. Is Unpleasant Dreams still an active show? Also, Cassandra is an awesome storyteller. Thank you. Yes, it is still active. And we're going to be posting a show in the next couple of weeks. So we had a little summer hiatus. Cassandra has been preparing for some important exams, and it's been a very busy summer. But we will back with more shows starting probably this week or next week. Thank you, lad. Thank you. Greetings from Lake Elsinore. I hope I got that right. Michelle, California. Greetings to you. When did your love and interest of paranormal begin? Jennifer, I think it was back to a show on TV when I was a real little kid. I can't stress how little I was. I was very, very young. But it was called In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy, and they talked about different paranormal topics, everything from cryptid creatures to ghosts, UFOs, strange disappearances. Love that show. So there you go. Mary says, your wish is the universe's command. Seattle would be great too. That's where I'm from originally. That would be a great place. Oh, my niece is going to be elated over the Plus membership gift. Thank you so much. She listens to you while she's getting ready for work. You got me through rough times too. It looks like you have a lot of people have the same experience. Thank you, Mary. Jim is the nice version of Johnny Carson of the paranormal world. Oh, that's a great compliment. Thank you. Howdy from Austin. Hey, Claire. Hey, Laura. Stay spooky. Stay spooky. So, do we have any other questions? Do we have any other questions, comments, or anything like that? I'm glad to answer here. I'm not going to go too long today, maybe another 10 minutes or so. I just want to kind of say hey, and I like these check-ins to talk to folks and just kind of give a verbal update to what's going on. And Mark agrees. In Search Of was the best. I really liked that, and I felt that they, again, I mean, I don't think they had big budgets and those kind of things, but I think they tried to treat the subject matter somewhat seriously. And I actually have the DVD set, so I can always go back and relive my young childhood when I want to. But it's amazing how much the production values and everything have gone up and how much better, TV looks now than it used to. But I think sometimes that content was still better, even though the film wasn't, wasn't the shot on the best film or the whatever. It just didn't look as slick or as pretty. But I think it was better in some ways. Oh, this is good news, Claire. Transition to new platform was easy. Any additional communication I need to do with Libsyn, or is that business all wrapped up now? No, route everything at this point through me. I'm glad everything worked. They are or were to cancel, and it appears from everything I can tell that they were to cancel all continuing payments. Everything will go through me and supporting Cast going forward. Hold on. Talitha wants to know, does the U.S. and Canada all have all the scary cryptids in wildlife? I can't think of anything scary in the UK. I think there have been plenty of scary things in the UK. Nick Redfern would be a great guy to ask on that. And he's done some books, and I think there were definitely some scary things in the UK. I think there are more reports in the U.S., particularly these days. Are there any YouTuber creators out there who you're interested in interviewing or doing collaboration with? Interviews, I love to do interviews with a lot of different people, a lot of YouTubers too. And we've had some really good ones lately. The Paranormal Podcast, which I think doesn't get enough attention compared to Campfire. We just did a show with Steve Gonzalez from Ghost Hunters, and he was great. I thought it was one of our best interviews in a long time. And, it got okay numbers, but I just don't know if people are down for long form interviews anymore, unless you're Joe Rogan. And then people will sit for hours. But although, maybe that's a matter of the interviewer. I don't know. But it just seems like there used to be an appetite for these kind of interviews. Now I think maybe there's so many that people, they can't, you know, uh, if you go to let me give you a example. Let's say that you go to like an art sale and 1,000 paintings. There could be a really great painting in the middle of those 1,000 paintings, but most people pass right over it. And I'm not saying that the paranormal podcast is like a great piece of art, but I do think there's so many interview shows these days that people think, they're all the same. And they don't take time to listen to the paranormal podcast, which I think is a cut above. It should be a cut above. I've been doing it for 19 years. So anyway, we keep doing the interview shows, and I'm always glad to interview people. BMA Artist says, been listening for a while, grew up on a lot of paranormal stuff. Time Life Mysteries of the Unknown books were huge. Yes. Hope you get to Seattle area. We have a new horror con. Washington State Horror Con would be fun. Maybe look into that for a Seattle stop. That would be fun. Jeremiah. Unsolved Mystery. Yes. My late teenage years, early 20s, absolutely. Yeah, Kat and Jethro. I've lost touch with them. I got to get in touch with them. Started listening a few years back now. Box of Oddities. Kat and Jethro were talking about recognizing your voice in an airport. I now have synchronicities constantly with both podcasts. Kat and Jethro are great. Just fantastic. I really like them. I'll have to give them an email this week. Catherine wants to know, can you tell us again when yours and Dar's new show will start and what will it be about? It will be called The Paranormal Report. It's basically a reboot of a show that I used to do. And it's basically a weekly show on paranormal news. Jeanette said, wasn't Leonard Nimoy the perfect host for In Search Of? I mean, it just worked. Yes, but I in recent years, I became aware, I think that was going to be Rod Serling. And yeah, and it's not because he passed away. And the odd thing is he passed away on my birthday, my 6th birthday, I think it was. Rod Serling passed away, and I've always been a big Rod Serling fan. Honestly, that's kind of where I got the inspiration to do Jim Harold's Campfire, Jim Harold's Crime Scene. I always loved when these writers and people put that on their shows, like I think there was a British show, Roald Dahl's Tale of the Unexpected. I always thought that was just kind of cool. So when I started, excuse me, when I started Campfire, I thought, well, there could be a million Campfire shows eventually. I think I was the first, as far as I know, but there's going to be a ton of people using that Campfire name. So I'll make a Jim Harold's Campfire because there can only be one. Mark did not know that In Search Of was on DVD. Seen it on YouTube. Yep, it's on DVD. We do in the UK. Well, in the area in Southwest, The Beast of Bodmin Moor for one. Yeah, I thought so for sure. Valiers wants to know, which do you like better, Halloween or Christmas? Now, let me be clear. Let me be clear. I sound like a politician because it's going to be a political answer. I love Halloween. Halloween is awesome. Christmas is still my favorite. But I love Halloween. Don't get mad. And I'm really excited because basically, as far as I'm concerned, once we hit Labor Day in the US and that's over, we are in Halloween season, like 2 months of Halloween. A lot of people think we're in Halloween season now. Claire wants to know, is it helpful for you to have suggestions from listeners about people to interview? Absolutely. I love that because there's only one of me and there's a lot more of you. So I absolutely love it. Phil, hey, Phil, long time no see. He said, of course, the Loch Ness Monster, of course. Jeremiah says he loves the Paranormal Podcast. Thank you. Lab wants to know, have we ever done an episode of the Paranormal Podcast about electronic voice phenomenon? Absolutely. No question. It's been a while, but we've absolutely done them. I did one for my Plus Club, Ghost Insight, in May with a gentleman that has kind of like this different kind of device. I forget what it's called. Hold on. Let me look it up. It was a really good one, really interesting. Give me a sec here. Just take me a sec to find it. Tony Rathman. This was on May 13th. And we played some EVPs on the show. And he has a device called the Static Com. That's on Ghost Insight. That's on my Plus Club, episode 220 of Ghost Insight. That's a really good one. Hey, Jake. Good to see you. Nessie, as a young kid, I was lucky enough to visit Loch Ness. That is cool. Ark says, Christmas is spooky when you think about Santa's abilities. Absolutely. I know it. Valier said Christmas is still spooky season. Well, as I understand, particularly in the UK, very popular to tell spooky ghost stories. Absolutely. I think we've gotten through all the questions. Well, I thank you all so much for joining me today for a little bit of coffee. We'll have another quick sip here. Scan for more questions. And, Jake liked that one Plus Club that we did with Tony Rathman. Yeah, I'd like to have him back on the Paranormal Podcast at some time in the future. It was really interesting. Yes, Talitha says the Christmas ghost story tradition, M.R. James, Charles Dickens, E.F. Benson is my favorite thing about Christmas, except for mince pies. Love Halloween because there are no rules, no expectations. Put up my purple lights, up all loopy. You know, it's true. Halloween is a lot less pressure. No, you're right about that. You're absolutely right about that, Mary Beth. Phil says, have you heard the EVP caught by astonishing legends at Sallie House is incredibly creepy? Yes, I believe I have. Yeah. They do a great job. Forrest and Scott, just fantastic. Oh, hello. A ghost hunting group got EVPs outside in their car at Amityville House. Yeah, a lot of bad energy at that place for sure. Gotta be with what happened there, tragic events. Well, thank you for joining us today. We'll have a new Paranormal Podcast up Tuesday, an all new campfire. Some people were upset that we're doing too many best ofs. So barring any emergencies, every episode the rest of this year will be all new of Jim Harold's Campfire. No repeats. Let's see, what else? Yeah, that's basically it. We'll have some more Plus shows, of course. We have 8 Plus episodes every month exclusive to Plus Club members. Most people don't know that. And we thank you so much. We'll talk to you next time. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy your coffee. Stay spooky.